Welcome to the Empowerista interview series on Business Rockstars. I'm Alex Worley, joined by Sally Olivia Kim. She is the CEO of Tonic and the author of Collagen Glow. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, excited to dive into your journey because it's been 2 years and you've bootstrapped a business to surpass the 7-figure mark, and we're going to learn how you did it. So first of all, let's go back to the beginning. Where were you in your life and what inspired you to start this company?
So I was, I think, 22 when I got burned. I was cooking and the pan flipped on me and all the oil that I was using to deep fry one of my arms, and it burned the skin off both of my arms completely, and I was trying to get my skin to heal and regenerate as quickly as possible. You know, following that, I was going to my dermatologist uncle and grandmother, and they were prescribing me things, but nothing worked. So I was going crazy. I had all these crazy burn blisters that were just popping every 5 minutes, and it sounds kind of painful and gross, but I went online and I was like, how can I get my skin back to how it was? And I found collagen. So while I was researching, I saw that there's a city in Brazil where they were getting strips of fish skin and putting it directly onto the wounds of burn victims. And the collagen from the fish skin would be extrapolated, absorbed by the skin, and be used by the skin to make and regenerate new skin cells. And that kind of wowed me. And I was like, what? I want to do this. But, you know, I wasn't going to put strips of fish all over myself. So I went and I started ingesting collagen. And after about 3 months of it, everyone was like, oh my God, your skin and hair look amazing. What are you doing to it? What are you putting on? And I was like, I'm not really doing anything but taking collagen powder. And this was, you know, at the time only for my arms. I wasn't worried about my hair or my skin. So when I put the 2 and 2 together, that it was coming from the collagen powder, I started giving it to everyone around me. And I was like, you have to take it. You have to take it. And I don't know if you know the power of collagen. Have you taken it before?
I have, but not consistently. So yeah, why don't you give everybody a refresher and 101 education on it?
So collagen is the most abundant substance in your body after water. Most people don't know this, but our entire body, head to toe, is made up of collagen. And what collagen does is, if you think of your skin cell kind of as like a bean bag, it helps it keep uptight and less sickle. And when you ingest collagen, it makes sure to like protect that uprightness, if that makes sense. And when you look at the reason we age or how we age, when we see our skin sag and our hair fall out, it's all directly correlated to your collagen levels declining.
Amazing. So then I'm sure you had to make a more official version and product to take it to market. And I know that that was one of the challenges off air that you said was product development. Give me a little bit of insight into that.
Yeah. I think in the beginning, my biggest kind of fork road that I was at was, do I go, you know, the mom and pop shop style where I get cheaper plastic bags and obviously make it look homemade with love, or do I manufacture it at a commercial level? And everyone around me told me that I should go with the former. They didn't want me to invest, you know, all my life savings creating something that they didn't know was going to work with the market. And of course, with the minimum order quantity and how much you have to produce from the get-go, the manufacturers require you to, you know, produce a ton. And that at the time, when I didn't have a market, when I didn't have customers, it was super daunting to me. And I struggled with it for a few months, and I was like, you know what, I have to do this. I'm so passionate about bringing collagen to everyone. I'm so passionate about bringing wellness and making it taste good for people around me. And if everyone around me who initially hated it now love it, there's no way that people out there wouldn't be the same. So I kind of just bit the bullet, went with it, and haven't really looked back since. But it was definitely a super, super tough process, finding manufacturers. And it's still something that I struggle with, finding manufacturers that I can trust and sourcing all the ingredients to the manufacturer, making sure that it comes out exactly the way I want it, constantly formulating, developing different ingredient mix with different suppliers. If you really look at all the different ingredients that we've tested, you know, times how many collagen brands have we tested, all their supplements, it could come out to, you know, thousands of combinations. So sending those back and forth, visiting the factory, it was just like a lot that I had to deal with on top of working full time at Condé Nast still. So that was definitely like probably the hardest couple months of my life.
And I'm sure your background in finance comes into play and is really helpful.
1,000%.
So let's talk about that a little bit. When you started this business, how did you approach it financially?
So I was at a VC fund before, and I learned all the skill sets of building, like a very efficient business model. And I think that is, again, like the number one thing that any entrepreneur should do when starting a startup. You go and you look at you estimate how much you're going to be spending that year, how much you think you'll be generating revenue, the hits and losses you're going to have to take, how much product you're going to have to give out, how many times you're going to have to travel, get on the plane. All those things you have to just sit down. It took me, I think 2 weeks to build. It's going to be a very long, arduous process, but you sit there and you think through almost every scenario. And I promise if you do, like, no crazy scenario will completely like throw you off track.
And how did you come up with your revenue goals and make sure that you were reaching them?
So I built my model based off of how much I've purchased in volume, and then I figured, okay, if I sell 70% of that at a premium and I give 30% of that away, or a healthy mix of giving it away or giving it a discount, and then projecting like that kind of revenue over month, the kind of growth I'll see, and then adding onto that, like different Facebook ads, Instagram ads, how I'm going to have to like market, whether it's through experiential pop-ups or going and giving it to someone, coming up with all the different like line items for that, and then figuring out like, will they purchase at the pop-up? I like to make base case and like best case scenarios. So I would say at this pop-up, I think maybe 5 people will buy for a base case, and then for a best case, I'll say 15 people will buy. So projecting revenue that way, and after making best case and then a base case, I like to come to the middle and find like a healthy medium and healthy, like, because I think sometimes base case is too low and I'm really underachieving there, and then vice versa. So I like to come to like the middle and find a healthy ground.
I know off air you were saying that really helped you get to the next level was your connections to the publications. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I was working at Condé Nast, and every day I was meeting with, the editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue, Allure, and I got really close to them. I even pitched to Anna Wintour once, which was a crazy experience. But becoming friends with them, not even on a professional level, they were actually people that I loved hanging out with. And, as friends, like they began to support me, and they were drinking it like because they were obsessed with it. And it became like a really positive cycle where they were supporting me, giving me a lot of really great advice on how to continue to best improve and sustain the product, and what kind of things that press would like to write about. And all of that was such a huge positive like reinforcement for me to keep going forward. But also post-launch commercially, they wrote about it, and it came out in Allure a couple of times, and other platforms like W, and those are the key press pieces that helped us work with retailers like Sephora and Kith. So all of it was kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess.
Good to know that that's something that worked really well for you.
Also, cold calling. I think that people really underestimate the power of cold emails, cold calls. You can reach out to anyone now with LinkedIn and Instagram, and 50% of the people that I've worked with, that I've hired for Tonic, were all inbounds to me, because that shows a level of passion and tenacity, because they keep trying, that I think if I went and found someone, they wouldn't, it would be unmatched. So even if you don't necessarily have the connections to begin with, I think persistency and keep making sure that you keep trying, even though you may not get a response back, is something that I really want everyone to know. Like, if you're sending out 100 emails, at least one will respond.
Great. Well, where can people keep up with you?
My Instagram is at Salsters, SALLSTERS, Crush Tonic, CRUSHEDTONIC, and our website, www.crushtonic.com.
Wonderful. Sally, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Alex Worley, and this is Business Rockstars.